Welcome, everyone, to another edition of our Prayer Book Hebrew series. If you notice that on my YouTube channel, I am working on the Prayer Book Hebrew the easy way and doing the videos for chapters 1 through 5. You will find chapters 6 and 7 on there, and we are working on Og HaRasha, Og the Terrible, comic book series for kids or adults alike who want to sort of have a story along with learning biblical Hebrew. So tonight we will continue with our Prayer Book Hebrew the Easy Way text. And if you remember last time we went through the vocabulary, I wrote them out for you and I pronounced them and gave you the transliteration. And hopefully you will have written those down on a piece of paper about 12 times and pronounced them as I have pronounced them in order to aid retention and so that you are prepared to continue on with this chapter. So with all of that, let me take you to Prayer Book Hebrew the easy way. Okay. And so we began here, we finished this vocabulary up, but what I'm going to do very quickly here is go over this. This is on page 5, and we're going to look at this example here of the prayer that they are giving us, that in every chapter they give us an example. So let's see what we have here with the Shema. Let me get my annotate out here. Okay. All right. So we have Shema Yisrael. And then notice this is that little abbreviation that we're talking about earlier, where it's really the name should go in there. So we could put Yod, Hey, Vav, Hey, and we could put Yahovah in there. And then Eloheinu, I'll put an E-L-O-H-E-I-N-U, Eloheinu. And then here it is again, Yod, Hey, Vav, Hey, or Yahovah, Echad, E-C-H-A-D. And so we, Shema, we have listen, hear, or obey, Yisrael, it's speaking to us, the Commonwealth of Israel. Yahovah, the very name of our Creator. Eloheinu, our God. Yehovah, Echad, meaning one, is one, or a compound unity. Okay, so then the tune is very familiar to most of you who are in the Torah affirming communities, and it goes like this: Shema Yisrael, Yahovah Eloheinu, Yahovah Echad. Okay, now Shema is the most well-known prayer in the prayer book. It's also a good example of the Hebrew noun sentence. Notice the last two words of the Shema. These words form a noun sentence. They are translated, the Lord is one. Okay, and notice the third and fourth words. These words can be translated as a noun sentence. The Lord is our God. Okay, or as a phrase, the Lord our God. Okay, so what they're doing, they're basically changing. They're taking this abbreviation and saying the Lord and then our God. See that? And that's a noun sentence. But really, it's Yahovah our God. Both are correct. This prayer shows how a Hebrew sentence or phrase can be translated into English in more than one way. Okay, so that is our example for today. So let's go back now to our vocabulary on page 1 in Prayer Book Hebrew the Easy Way. And let's continue on down. But before we do that, I'll just do a brief review for those of you. Here we have Av, Echad, Ani, Ata, the word who, Zeh, Yisrael, Melech, Moshe, and the word Am, meaning nation or people. Okay, so you can see the translations there to the left-hand column. All right, so continuing down, we have in this chapter, we will introduce no more than 10 new vocabulary words. These words need to be learned. And the only way to learn them is to write them and say them. Put the transliteration there and the translation along with the Hebrew script. So continuing on, the noun sentence. In this chapter, you will learn about the simplest type of sentence in Hebrew, the noun sentence. The noun sentence is a very good example of how Hebrew and English are different. Look at the following simple English sentences. You are a king. I am a father. Moses is a king. In English, each of these sentences is 3 to 4 words long. In Hebrew, each of these sentences would use only 2 words. Remember that Hebrew sentences are read from right to left. Okay, so let's see what we have here. We have Ata Melech. Ata Melech. Okay, and literally this is you, king. But then in order to make a proper English, we would add these 2 English words in there. So you are a king. How about this? Ani Av. Ani Av. Okay, I, father. Or we would add these in there to translate it into proper English. I am a father. Finally, we have Moshe Melech. Moshe Melech. Okay, we have the proper name Moses, king. Or in English, we translate and add these words in here. Moses is a king. Okay, so these are complete Hebrew sentences. As you can see, they contain no word for is, am, or are. These words do not exist in Hebrew and must be added in an English translation. You will also notice that the word a does not appear in the Hebrew sentences. In Hebrew, there is no word for a or an. These words, too, must be added in an English translation. Okay, so first one we have here is Ata Av. Ata Av. So you, father. Okay, of course, in the English translation, we are adding these in. You are a father. Ani Melech. Okay, Ani Melech. Okay, and so here is I, king, or I am a king. Those are added in. Yisrael Am. Yisrael Am. Okay, Israel, nation or people. And so Israel is a people. They add those in. Zeh Moshe. Zeh Moshe. Okay, now, so this Moses, that's literally what that's saying. This Moses. So we add is in there and we get this is Moses. Okay, so you see what they're talking about. There are these extra words that we have in English to make a proper sounding sentence. But Hebrew is a little more primitive in sounding if you were to hear it directly translated from Hebrew to English without those extra words that kind of help the translation along. Okay, so this is all you need to know to be able to form simple Hebrew sentences. Many of the sentences in your prayer book are noun sentences. Okay, so now we have some exercises here, and let's see how we can work these out together. Now, what I would suggest for you to do is in the book, when it comes time for exercises, if you have the book out there, work through the instruction part and then stop the video and try to work these exercises out yourself, and then continue the video for the exercises to get the answers, and or if you need help along the way, or you could just follow along, try to guess before I give you the answer. There's people that do that as well. So let's look at the first one we have here. We have Ani Moshe. Okay, so we're going to translate these sentences. I am Moses, because we know that Ani is I and Moshe is Moses, right? How about number 2? Ata Melech. Ata Melech. Okay, so we know that Ata is the word you, so you, and then we have king, so we need to put R-A, king. Number 3, who of. Okay, who of. Who means he, and of course, means father. So he is a father. Okay, number 4, ze, this nation. So this is a nation, or people, either one. Okay, how about this? Who, echad. So who means he, and echad means one or compound unity. We could say he is one. Okay, perhaps referring to the Father. Number 6, Yisrael, So we have Israel, nation, or in proper English, is a nation. Okay, so now over here we have Moshe Melech, Moses king, or Moses is a king. All right, here we have Ani of, I father. I am a father. You see that? Ze Yisrael. Ze means this, and then Israel, of course, is Israel. This is Israel. How about this one? Hu Melech. So we know who means he in English. He, king. Or more properly in English, he is a king. How about number 11? Ze Moshe. Remember, Ze means this. Moshe is proper name, Moses. This Moses. This is Moses, right? All right, how about number 12? Ata Av. And so remember, Ata means you, and Av means father. So we have you are a father. All right. So we did pretty good there. Let's move on down here, and I think what we're going to do is reverse this for us. Okay, so now we have to translate these English noun sentences into Hebrew. Okay, so This is going to give you some Hebrew practice a little bit here. Let me see if I can get this. Okay, there we go. So, so we know, number one, you are a father. So we know that the Hebrew word for you is atah, masculine singular, and the word, and remember, these are just the add-ins, so we don't have to worry about that, writing that in Hebrew. But the word father is av. So then we would start out with the word atah, which would have an aleph, a patach, we would have a tav, give it a foot, with a kametz, and a hey, atah, and then the word av. Okay, kametz and vet. Atah, av. All right, so that would be the answer to number 1, section 2. All right. Number 2, this is a people. Okay, so the word for this is zeh, and we know that people or nation is am. So we have this noun sentence here that we are working on. And welcome, Lee. It's good to see you. We are on the exercises here on chapter 1. And I'm working on section 2, number 2, which is this is a people. And so the word this in Hebrew starts out with a zayin, okay, and we put a segol on there. So far we have the sound zeh, and then we finish it with a hey, zeh. Zeh. And then the word for people, of course, is and it uses a silent letter in Hebrew called the ayin. And so we have an ayin, a patach, and a mem. So this makes zeh, This is a people. So we're working on this one here, number 2. Okay, so number 3, let's look at number 3 quickly here. I am a king. So we know from our vocabulary the word I is ani, and the word for king is melech. So in order to write the word ani, we would start with an aleph, and we would put on there what's called a hataf patak. Chataf Patach. Okay. Let me see if I can get there we go. Get that out of the way. All right. And so that would give it a slight ah sound. And then we would have our noon with our Hebrewic yod combination. Ani. Okay, so then the word for king is melech. So we would start out with the M sound, which is the mem, and we would then put a segol under there. So now, so far, we've got meh, and here is lamed, segol, meh, leh, half sofit, melech. Okay, ani melech. So I am a king. I don't know what happened to Lee. Anyway, number 4, we have Israel is a nation. So we know we need to write out the word Israel. So then we would start with a yod, okay, a hirik, a sheen, or a scene rather. This is a scene. A resh, the kametz, and aleph. There he is again. Welcome back, Lee.
My tablet wouldn't connect, but my computer does as long as the video card works. But I'm here.
Okay, it's good to have you. So we're working on number 4, section 2 of chapter 1. And this is on page, well, let me finish the word here because it'll move my writing as soon as I figure out what page I'm on. I think it's page 4 in your prayer book Hebrew text. And so here's an ayin with a patach and a mem sofit. And so Yisrael, and then Israel is a nation. So this is how we would write it in Hebrew. And so remember, in Hebrew, it's more simplistic. We don't have these words for is or a or am or a or are or a. Those words do not exist in Hebrew. So all we're concerned about are the two main words in a simple noun sentence. And for this example here, it's Israel and nation. Those are the only two we have to worry about in writing this out in Hebrew. Okay, so now we are on number 5. This is Moses. So we know the word for this is zeh. So we use a zayin, and we put a segol under there to get that sound, zeh. And then, so we need the proper name for Moses, which happens to be starting out with a mem and a, it's actually a combination of the superlinear dot and the holem on the sheen. Mosh. And here's a segol, she, okay, M-O-S-H-E, Zeh Moshe. All right, so that is the answer to number 5. This is Moses. All right, so let's continue out to number 6. How about this? Moses is a king. So then, just like before, when we were writing Moses, we would write mem, and we would put this holem, which is also the superlinear dot, on the sheen. Okay. Moshe. And then we need now the word for king, which also begins with mem, and segol. So far we have meh, and now we have the lamed. Another S sound, meh, le, ends with chaf sofit, melech. Moshe, melech, number 6. All right. So let's go now to number 7. A nation is one. So the two words in here that we need to focus on is nation. So we know that is right? And the word one in Hebrew is echad. Okay, so we could start out by writing the word for nation, which is the ayin. Sort of looks like an inverted Y with a patach and a mem sofit. And then we would then write the word echad, right? Because that is the word for one, and that starts out with an aleph and a segol. So far we've got the sound, because remember the aleph is silent. And we go to chet. Okay, that's how we get the guttural sound with a kametz. And it finishes with a dalet, echad. So, echad, a nation is one. All right, let's go to number 8. I am he. Okay, so the word for I is ani, and we would use an aleph in that case with a chataf patak. That's a reduced patak, so it's a slighter sound. Then a noon and a hirik yod, ani. And then, so we need the word for he in Hebrew, which is who. And the word who starts out with a hey, and it has a shurik next to it that gives it that oo sound, and then it finishes with an aleph. Who. Ani, who. I am he. Okay, so that completes the exercises in section 2. We're getting right down to the end of chapter 1 here, and I believe we will finish chapter 1 with this class. So now we have the fill in the blank exercises. So we can pretty much use any word we want for these to fill in the blank. So the first one that we can see here, number 1, right now they're beginning with the word ani, which means I. So there's a lot in here that we could use. Well, we could use this one here, Moshe, I am Moses. We could say, I am a king. We could say, let's see, I am a father. There's a lot we could put here. So why don't we just put, since I am a father, I will put Av in there. We'll put Aleph, Kametz, Vet. Ani, Av, I am a father. How about number 2? Number 2, we have blank Am. So the word Am means nation or people. So we could put, let's see, we could say this is a nation. We could put the word ze in there, zayin, segol, hey, ze, and so it would be ze Am. This is a nation or people. This is a people. There's a few more things we could put in there. Let's go on to number 3. Who. So we know who means he. He. So we need to finish it. He is what? How about he is a king? We could put that. He is a father. We already used the father one. So let's put, how about the proper name? He is Moses. I think I said king for this. That's Moses there. Let's use Moses. Okay, so we'll start out with a mem. We'll add the holem, which is also doubling as the superlinear dot on the sheen. And then we will give it the segol and the hey. So it's he is Moses. All right, let's go to number 4. Number 4, we have blank Av. Okay, well, you could just reverse what we did here and throw an ani in there. In fact, I, or a Av next to that. So we have a reduced patak, hirik, yod, ani, Av. I am a father. Let's go to number 5. Ata, and here it is, blank. We have to figure something out here. You know what? If you were to say to someone that they were identified as part of Israel, I don't see why you couldn't just put Israel in there. You are Israel. I say that sometimes to people. If you're keeping our Father's precepts and commandments, you become part of the commonwealth of Israel. And if you believe in Yeshua, the Messiah, you are part of the commonwealth of Israel. So you are Israel, are you not? Israel, Ata Israel, you are Israel. And finally, we have Zeh, which means this blank, okay? Let's see here. About this is, what else we got up here? We could pick out of, well, let's just go with king, I guess. We could do that. This is a king. We have mem, segol, lamed, segol, finishes with a half savit, closes with a shabbat. Ze, melech. This is a king. All right. So there's some other options that you can put in there, and you can play around with them yourself using the vocabulary list and see what you can come up with. So number 4 here, see how many chapter 1 vocabulary words you can find in your prayer book. Okay, so let's see what we have here. So I can already see in this section here, they gave us Echad, they gave us Yisrael. Let's see here. I wonder if they gave us. This is our vocabulary again. Nation, people. Okay, so Israel is in our prayer example, and Echad is in our prayer example. That means one, but I'm not seeing any others in that phrase. So here's this one here, and this one here. So there's our vocabularies in our prayer book example. Okay, so I'm going to do this one more time for everyone. And what we have here is Shema Yisrael. And then remember, I'm using Yehovah where the abbreviation is. And if you don't understand why they're using this abbreviation, go to video PBH1, Prayer Book Hebrew 1, and I read that entire section about what they do with the name. So then we have Eloheinu, our God, Yehovah, that's what I'm going to put there, Echad. And here is how it goes once more. Shema Yisrael, Yehovah, Eloheinu, Yehovah, Echad. All right. And so that's a really good example of what this chapter is about, because you've got, in this chapter, we're learning the masculine singular nouns. Next chapter, we're going to be delving into the feminine singular. And so we'll probably do, I'll probably just read and give you the translation to the oral review. We may write some of them out. But then we will start chapter 2, the feminine noun. But the next time we meet, and I'm planning to meet around 6 p.m. every night, unless there's a conflict in the Ahad, unless there's some kind of meeting or something that's scheduled. Usually the meetings are scheduled around 9 p.m. at night. Or on the Shabbat, we've got 11 a.m., we've got 2 p.m., we've got the 3:33 club on Sunday. And I guess there are like teachings around 9. So I tried to make it at a time that, some people could show up possibly. And if you miss it, go to the YouTube channel. Not a problem. Anyway, now one more note here. If you would like to access the YouTube channel, what you do is you go to, let me get rid of that there, the Ahad International. And so it's www.theyahad.net, and go to teachers. You got several teachers here. There I am, and there's the YouTube channel. So that's how you can get to all of these teaching videos. And also, of course, remember I'm using the materials from this publishing company, EKS Publishing. So please support these people and get these materials from them, and you will not be disappointed, I promise you. In fact, one of the things that I am really looking forward to doing is getting some of these graphic illustrated books and going through these with you guys. But it would be great if you could get your kids these copies, and then you could go through the YouTube video and learn it, and then you could actually teach it to your children, which is really the goal. We should be teaching these things to our children. And as the Torah says, you know, when you wake up and when you go to sleep and when you walk along the way, talk about these things with your kids. Talk about the precepts and the wonderful concepts of our Father in heaven. And so with all of that, I want to give you all a farewell and wishes. And I don't know, do you have any comments or feedback, Lee, or any questions? Right now would be the time before I close the class.
Where is the prayer book at? From
okay.
The publishing company, you say?
Yeah, if you go to, let me show it to you one more time here, okay? Okay, so let's say you're at Google. Okay, so here's Google. All you do is put in EKS Publishing in your Google search field, and this is what comes up at the very top. EKS Publishing, Classical Hebrew. Now, you see where it says Homes, and here's Category. Go to Prayer Book Hebrew is where we have the materials we've been working on. The book that we did tonight is found here. Prayer Book Hebrew, the easy way. Okay, and then also notice that we are taking a story. It's called Og the Terrible. Now, unfortunately, on this website currently, they don't have the original story that I am going through listed to my knowledge, because I'm here in the Prayer Book Hebrew section. If you hit number 2, it's not there. So that means that it's not published. It's not being published, or there's just all sold out. But they do have the Og the Terrible, what do you call the successive ones? So you got Og the Terrible Returns, that's the second one, and here's Og in Jerusalem. And also notice that if you have an iPhone, there's a lot of people with iPhones out there. My goodness, $10, that's all. And you can get the entire Prayer Book Hebrew flashcards as an iPhone application. That's incredible. And so this is the section that we've been working in. But you notice there's a lot of categories here. Now, I did several classes in this category, Biblical Hebrew, and we looked at the First Hebrew Primer. This is a very heavy book. There's a lot in it, and I would not recommend we start that unless you have gotten through the Prayer Book Hebrew series, because you're going to get lost and you'll probably just not be able to learn at the rate you should. You might get discouraged, and I don't want that to happen to people, which is one of the reasons why I'm trying to make these videos into smaller, bite-sized videos. You know, so that's, excuse me, that's my goal, just to give people a little bit every day so that they can move ahead, and they can go at their own pace, because these videos, like I say, will be on the YouTube channel.
Yeah, that's a good idea. Even if we could download it to our device, we can watch it in our off hours and just, you know, like that. If it's a smaller size of program,
right,
you can download it. So that's a good idea there. With a smaller thing, smaller bite size, people have many schedules going on all day long, and
right.
To make room in their hard drive brain for what you've been teaching, what you're teaching is needs to go slow.
Right, they do. And so what I'm planning to do is put up chapters 1 through 5, so that they've got 1 through 7 totally on the YouTube channel. And then also, if I can get people past chapter 7, I'll go forward. But in the meantime, I'm going to keep doing these comic books and these littler things, these littler modules, and to just keep bringing people along. And then if they feel confident, then they can make it through chapters 1 through 7, which I would consider, if they've gotten past that, now you're at the intermediate stage in Prayer Book Hebrew. And we would continue with chapters 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and 13. And then I would consider from 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, that's advanced. By that time, you really, it's got the entire Amidah prayer,
Right.
you know, and imagine having that. You would have no trouble with any Siddur anywhere if you got through that program. So anyway, it was a pleasure having you here with me tonight, Lee, and the Almighty bless you and everyone else out there. I hope to see everyone back again tomorrow, 6 p.m., Yahweh willing. Shalom, shalom.